pulled from the earth and fashioned into something essential. Those are the only two industries there are. Everything else is jobs. Anyway, his dad taught him.
Thank you. By the way, a lot of people, when the Q&A starts, they start walking out for whatever reason. Let me tell you something. That's going to be a big mistake when you find out who is going to ask the last question. So I recommend you don't leave. And even Mike Rowe doesn't know what I'm talking about, but he will soon.
That's a tease.
Okay, question over here. Paul.
Hi, I'm Paul Dykowitz. I'm a columnist with StockInvestor.com and DividendInvestor.com, an author, and Mark Skousen's editor. So I have a question for you because I've written about skilled trades and their importance and the lack of skilled tradesmen for things like you mentioned, plumbing and all kinds of things. What is the solution? We hear a lot of people complaining and waiting extra weeks for people to come to their house. It's a good job because the prices keep going up to have the services done. But what should we do to resolve the problem?
And before you answer that question, he brought up investing. And one of the things that I found really interesting in your book, the way I heard it, is your story about how you lost all of your savings because you invested with a money manager who managed the money until it was all gone.
That's correct.
What did you learn from that? And then you can answer that question.
I'm going to go the other way.
Okay.
I'm going to answer him first because I'm a creature of chronology, right?
Okay.
Way leads on the way. I know exactly what to say to him, and then I'm going to, God help me, I'm going to answer you again. We need to affirmatively confront the stigmas, stereotypes, myths, and misperceptions that have formed around the skilled trades the day we did the most unforgivably stupid thing we've done in education, and that was take shop class out of high school. When we did that, we not only robbed a whole generation of kids from a whole category of opportunities, we took from them the optics, the visual proof of the very existence of these jobs. Wood shop, metal shop, auto shop, all of that, just gone. So if you're in high school trying to figure out what to do with your life, trying to figure out what makes sense to your brain, you don't even see these things, right? So a great many unintended consequences have followed, in my view, in the wake of that. And those myths and misperceptions include things like you can't make six figures working with your hands. Well, that's crazy. My foundation has awarded $7 million in work ethic scholarships to kids who go to trade schools, period, not four-year schools. I can give you a list of hundreds of welders right now making over $100,000 a year. Some of them have started small businesses and purchased vans and hired HVAC guys and plumbers and so forth. And telling those stories is what we have to do. Now, we've got to do a lot of other things too, but on a macro level, we have to make a persuasive case for success stories that don't require a four-year degree. We just have to do it to get back to where the other side is. Blue collar and white collar is nonsense in 2023. The color of collars no longer matters. What matters is mastering a skill that's in demand and working. That's what matters, and that's what we have to do. So.
Amen. And yet only 4% of educational expenses is on trade schools.
Right.
It's
right.
really sad, yeah.
Again, the skills gap is not a mystery. Our current dilemma is not a mystery because our current dilemma is not a problem. It's a symptom. And it's a symptom of our relationship with work, and it's a symptom of the things we value and the way we spend, to your point. So all we have to do is change the way we think, which is hard, right? Which is hard. Forgive me, but I got to say one other thing. It's PR. I hate to say that out loud, especially, because I always get quoted and it's like, oh, we just need better marketing. Because that's the first thing that gets cut when things get when the going gets tough. But marketing matters, perceptions matter. Dirty Jobs did a lot to change the way people think about work because millions of people, hundreds of millions around the world, saw labor through a slightly different lens. So look, on a policy level, what can happen? You remember the Indian standing on the side of the road in the Keep America Beautiful campaign, right? Paddling through the estuaries, through the garbage with the tear running down his face. That worked. It took over 10 years, but by every measurable metric, people's relationship with littering, which was a huge problem in the 60s and 70s, way before green was green, just basic littering and pollution, that PR worked. It changed people's behavior. We need a campaign that changes our relationship with work in the same way that Weeping Indian changed our relationship with littering. It's tricky, but we can do it.
Right. Okay.
You're going to make me answer the other question too?
You got to answer. We have a 3-day financial conference here, and if you had come to that conference,
I think they lost your microphone. Did you notice that?
it does.
Could you guys hear him just now?
No.
That's a shame because he was saying some amazing shit, man. This is amazing.
Yeah, they do seem to have lost.
This is amazing. Here he comes to save the day. Oh, wow. Now look how personal he's getting with you back there. My goodness.
It feels pretty good.
It feels pretty good.
Yeah.
Knowing hands.
You're good. Oh, I'm good. Okay. Yeah, I was just saying we have a 3-day investment conference, and if you had come to that, this wouldn't have happened. So what did you learn anything from that? Obviously, you invested somewhere else with your
Well,
future.
no, I learned everything, and like every terrible thing that's ever happened to me, losing every dime I had.
How much did you lose?
Well, I was 37, and I was living a very different life. Actually, that's not true. I was 39, and I'd been freelance. This is before Dirty Jobs. So I was living a Travis McGee lifestyle. Travis McGee, famous fictitious guy, lived on a boat, solved crimes, took his retirement in early installments. My whole business model was based on this John D. McDonald fictitious character. But I'm a freak with debt. The only 4-letter word in my family growing up that was off limits was debt. You know, we were okay with risk and we were okay with the naughty words, but no debt. And so I never had any. I went to a community college, then I went to work, then I got my degree in communications, and then I started freelancing. And I saved every penny I made, and I worked when I felt like it, and I took a lot of time off, and I traveled. I was arrogant, Mark, in the way you get when you think you've cracked the code, right? So I'm like freelancing in my chosen field. I'm saving my money, and a person who I knew for a long time had risen to a level of prominence in a well-respected financial advisory firm. And that person got over their skis and started, it was kind of a Bernie Madoff thing, but not at that level. And about 40 or 50 pretty seasoned investors, not including me, I just went along for the ride. But it was a bad ride, and a lot of people lost everything. And
you went to jail, right?
Oh yeah, still in jail.
Wow.
It was a big deal back in Maryland.
Who manages your money now?
Well, what happened was, I got a guy now, and that doesn't matter. What matters is what happened to me right after that. Like a couple of things changed. My business model changed. I went and I got a steady paycheck. Mm-hmm. That paycheck was with CBS, and that job was the job my mom called me at to tell me to do something that looked like work, which led to Dirty Jobs, which required me to bite the balls off the lamb, which brought me here, right? So that happened.
Yeah.
But the other thing that happened was I took a deep dive. I read a book by John Bogle.
Bogle.
Bogle,
Yeah.
right.
Jack Bogle.
Jack, right, of course, Vanguard.
Yeah.
And then I read one by...
I knew him well, personally.
Did you?
Yeah.
Well, he changed my life, even though I can't pronounce his name. And then Burton, Malkiel.
Malkiel.
Yeah.
Random
Walk Down Wall Street.
Yes. Available at our bookstore, or our Eagle Publishing.
Good to know, right next to Noble, Tennessee whiskey.
There you go.
And then I read just one after the next, and I started investing at Vanguard, and I became a real disciple of low-cost mutual funds, diversification, little exposure here and there. It made me take ownership of my own stuff.
Wow.
So I still maintain a level of ownership, but now being fabulously successful, I have people looking after it as well.
Well, unfortunately, they have this sign that says, please wrap up, but we do have time for one more question. Sorry about the rest of you, but
Aren't you in
Rob Strong out here, we want to call on him. I understand he has a question that he would like to ask.
Yes, Mark, I'd like to know, how can you feel any sin in sincere?
Oh my God, now it got weird.
Where is the good in goodbye? Your apprehensions confuse me, dear. Puzzle and mystify, tell me what can be fair in farewell, dear, while one single star shines above. How can there be any sin insincere? Aren't we sincerely in love? Oh, we're in love.
Come on up here. I want to introduce you to the Times with Rob Strong as the lead, Craig Brown as the tenor, Sean King as baritone, Will May and bass here from Memphis, and I brought you a microphone for you to join in if you care to.
Not many of you know that Mike Rowe is a lifetime member of the Barbershop Harmony Society.
That's true.
In fact, he is in the Hall of Fame for the Barbershop Harmony Society, which is code for Show-Offs Anonymous.
It certainly is. Oh my, this is the absolute weirdest day of my adult life, man, I gotta tell you.
So we'd like to invite Mike. I mean, you mentioned you sing in the opera before. You mentioned you made a lot of bad choices, including singing Barbershop. And
good sight reader, too.
we heard that you are a phenomenal sight reader of music. So we'd like to invite you to sing with us. We're going to sing a song that you may never have heard before.
I've heard this one before.
But we understand that you are a great sight reader of music. Actually, this song is a Barbershop standard song called Sweet and Lovely. And I know for a fact you've sung that song in front of thousands of people on the stage of the Barbershop Harmony Society's annual contest and
I
convention.
have a special hat, though.
He does. I mean, you're wearing the wrong hat.
With you. All right.
You're wearing the wrong hat.
Take that hat.